All right, can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Having some technical difficulties this morning. This is my third attempt at getting a live stream going. So, can you hear me? Can you see me? Well, you can't see. You see my screen, I mean. Okay. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, that was annoying. Anyway, I've already been through this like 4 times this morning, but here we go. So we're opening inside the previous day's range. We're expecting to have chop this morning. The market's just going to grind up and down. We're looking for resistance in this node of volume from the overnight. The upper end of that is about 44.22-ish. So we're looking for resistance prior to there. If the market is able to work its way above that level and come back down and find support around this upper end of the node here, that would be bullish for continuation higher to push back up into the previous balance area. If we get resistance in here, which is what I think will happen, the market will then trade down looking for support in this node down here. So between like 43.79 and 43.69 in that area. And then we can use that lower level, 43.69, as a potential support or resistance. If the market is able to work its way below there and come back up and find resistance, we would look for continuation lower. So at the moment, I expect we just grind around for the next hour or two between these two nodes. That is what I'm guessing is going to happen this morning. All right, and now let's take a step back and talk about why. Well, last week we were in a balancing area up in here, and we broke that balancing area to the downside. Okay, that is bearish to see. If you break a balance area to the downside, you expect excess to the downside. You expect the market to continue moving. We immediately pushed down and then tested the high of the previous balance area, the one that we were in before that. Now, there's two ways the market can react. It can either pull down into the previous balance, get acceptance, in which case we target the opposite end of balance, or it can get rejected out, in which case we'd target heading back up to this balance area, right? So we did not reject. The overnight ended up trading down inside that balance almost the whole night. So that is bearish to see as a continuation of the excess to the downside. And then when you add to it the fact that we have a poor low that we left behind down here at 42.82. Let me zoom in and get the exact number. 83. So 42.83, that is a poor low down there. And so that becomes a target for price to go down there and repair that if we stay inside this balance area. Oh boy. If we stay inside this balance area over here. Okay. So once again, this morning, I'm looking for chop between this node and this node. If the lower node breaks, we target that poor low down there at 42.83. If the upper node breaks, we target getting back into the balance area, 44.56. But as long as we're in between those two nodes, we expect the market to just grind around. Okay? Good luck. Happy trading. And, yeah. Let's see what the market's got for us. Believe it or not, I actually went through all the hellos this morning already in a previous stream, but once again, Big Ray, good morning to you. Ronald, good morning. Jimmy Woo, Cyrus, J Trader, Scooball, Philip, Amir, David V, David Glass, Mac Vins, Rand Jan, Laser Eye, Nor Auto Trader. Everyone is here. Welcome, 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 Rev. Philip is with us. Nicholas, Diego. James is here. John is here. The Knob in the house. ESK, Good to see you. Ocean Blue, good morning to you and happy Valentine's Day. Where's your chocolates? Where's my chocolates? All right, so at the moment, we're getting resistance right at the overnight POC, as is to be expected. This is where we had resistance in the overnight. So just expecting chop until we break 43.69. The overnight inventory was completely neutral. They opened here and closed here. So basically completely neutral. No real signal there. Good morning, Ned and Aaron. Welcome. Design Knob feeling very romantic this morning. Scoopball, what do you think the overnight was looking to previous balance area and fail? No, it closed inside that balance area, right? So if it would have just dipped in like this, if we would have dipped in last night and then the overnight spent like a little bit of time here and then they traded higher, that would have been looking into there and then failing and pulling back out. But the fact that we looked in last night and then the overnight just spent the whole overnight rotating inside there, that's bearish. They looked in and stayed in. Got the chop this morning, chop suey. Currently finding support above yesterday's low. That's slightly bullish. But I think if that low breaks, we're down here in this node very quickly. I would describe the NQ as being in pretty much the same position as the ES on a larger time frame. I'd say they're pretty much moving in sync. But yes, this morning it's a little more bullish. It's starting to get above the node of resistance from the overnight. So I would say at this point, if they can start to build support around this 14,254-ish level, that could be bullish for continuation higher. Let's wait and see what the ES does. JTrader was a 74-point overnight range, a little bigger than average. Maybe. I wouldn't say that much. Yeah, I'd say maybe a hair bigger than average, but not in any kind of extreme. Chop City today. Spaccio, good morning to you. Or good evening or good night, depending on where you live. All right, the poll is out. Where's the market going today? Are you a bull? Are you a bear? Or do you just think we're going to hang around here and go nowhere? Let me know in the poll. Something dirty sounding about that statement. Let me know in the poll. Wink, wink. All right, so like I said, if the overnight low breaks, I would expect we're going to get a put. I'm sorry, if yesterday's low, Friday's low breaks, I would expect we're getting a push down here into the 43.79 area. So look for a little pop lower here. Doesn't necessarily mean anything too bearish until this node breaks. That's when we start to get really bearish and can start looking at the poor low we left behind at 42.83. Okay, speaking of poor lows, the A period low is now considered poor because it is exactly the same level as Friday's low. It's actually weak. And we often get a push away from a poor reference, but then the market comes back later to take it out. So that is bearish to see. "35 people have voted. Only 44 people have liked, but we got 107 people here. Smash that thumbs up button and give us your vote. Participate or walk the plank." Where do you think the market's going to go down? Go up, down, or sideways? Your votes are anonymous. Nobody knows it was you. Likes are anonymous too, so if you don't like the stream, you can always give the thumbs down. No one will know. Amir, there isn't all three options. I'm seeing all three options. Higher, lower, sideways. All right, going to end the poll. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Where do you think the day will end? Oh, Amir, you wanted to be able to say all three. I just mean by the end of the day, not throughout it. I have no doubt we're going to go up, down, and sideways throughout the day. All right, so the conclusion that we came to is that 46% of you think we're going lower, 30% think we're going sideways, and 23% think we're going higher. So we as a community feel kind of how I feel. That's about where I would place my odds of thinking what would happen myself. Be about 40% lower, 30% sideways, 20% higher. So you guys are in line with the pirate. Scooball, can the NQ take the ES higher? Yeah, they've been moving in sync with one another lately. So if the NQ is super bullish today, it'll pull the ES with it. I'm just not convinced they're super bullish yet. I suppose they're doing the first step. They pushed above that node. They're coming back down and finding support. So they have potential to get bullish here. I would more worry about it going the other way, though, that the NQ starts to get a push higher, but then the ES can't break out above here, above this node. And so then the ES actually pulls the NQ back down with it. I think that might be a higher probability play. Nunez didn't know EFs could pull NQ down. Yeah, I mean, there are times where the two are just each doing their own thing and they're not really affecting one another. And then there are times where they seem to be moving in sync with each other. If one pushes higher, it pulls the other with it, and vice versa. And it can be either one that has the effect on the other. So the ES can be bearish and it stops the NQ from going higher, or vice versa. But that's, of course, very, speculative. Just guessing. Also, it's worth mentioning while the market grinds away at this resistance here in the ES, that the E-course is out. For well over the past year, I have been getting messages through social media and emails weekly asking me to create an E-course, saying, Charles, we love you. We love the way you teach, but we just don't have time to sit and listen all day, every day. So you can explain something when it happens to come up in real time. Can't you just make us a course where we pay one low price and then we get to watch everything all at once and it's accessible? And I said to them, that's so much work, you guys. Why are you burdening me with this effort? But then I did it. I put in the time. I built the course. I soft launched it last week and got some unbelievably good feedback over the weekend. Everybody had positive things to say, and nobody had a single complaint about what's in the course. They gave me some great ideas for things to add to it, which I will be adding over the weeks to come. But yeah, it's out there. It exists. If you've been watching these live streams and you know there's something to it, you've seen me say, oh no, don't get bullish yet. Wait for the resistance. And then it worked out. You've seen me say, oh, it's a gap and go. You don't wait around. You get in the trade and then you see it play out. If you're wanting to learn what I do, the e-course would be the best way to do it. So there is a link at the top of the description below and in the chat. And today only, you can get $25 off with Day125 promo code, as today is the official launch. Trading Donkey, apparently you haven't read my review yet. Not only have you not reviewed it, not only do I know you've not reviewed it, I know you haven't purchased it. So nice try. Well, Cyrus, that's the goal. Now I can start pointing them towards that e-course. Jimmy Woo, where do you leave reviews? If you click on after you buy it, if you click on the actual product, you can leave a review. Yeah, so you can click on reviews right here and leave a review once you've purchased it. And please do leave reviews. Unless it's a bad review, in which case please just email me directly. No, I'm kidding. All reviews welcome. Let the truth out. Trading Donkey, I appreciate you. No, I just haven't checked since this morning. Well, that is awfully sweet of you. And furthermore, I appreciate you paying with the Bitcoin. That's awesome. All right, well, still no insights as we print the B period here. But I would say we do still have a poor low now for this morning, or sorry, a weak low that needs repair. And if we start to push below Friday's low, we're likely to get a big push lower, down here to like 81-ish pretty quick. So I would be bearish on the very short term for a pop lower if we break Friday's low. So I'm going to change the banner to say bearish, but again, this is only very, very short term. just to get down into this node below us and then see if we find support there. Screwball, did the NQ find resistance at the overnight high? Well, no. It found resistance in the node at the end of the day from yesterday. It was able to puncture through that overnight high a few times. But again, one might make the argument that the ES is pulling it down more so than it's getting resistance. $777, the NASDAQ Weekly tells a story. I mean, it looks bearish. To me, this all looks like good, strong support just under the market. So I'd be willing to bet if we do get some more continuation lower. Is this the 100 or the 50? Yeah, the 100 weekly will act as support. That seems like a good target. But yeah, that looks bearish. That doesn't look bullish. Thank you for the nice review, Laser Eye. Appreciate it, brother. All right, I forgot to mention it, but we do have a level right here that we're backfilling right now that only had 171 contracts in it. So any less than 200, and that slightly increases the odds we need to backfill it. But since that's right at that over or at Friday's low, I'll be looking for resistance there. So if the market pushes back up, starts to backfill and gets resistance, I'll look for continuation lower. If it's able to push back up into Friday's range, I'll go back to a neutral stance, as this is good taper on the low. Those of you that took the e-course, you understand the chunking, right? You understand watching the low break was a little bit bearish, but then we expected to find support at the base of spikes. So that's not necessarily bullish to see we found support there because it's expected. And it makes the B period low weak. So then when we see the 171 contracts, well, now that's bullish because we need to pull back up and backfill it. But then we see it's right at that low, which was the breaking point. And then we see that as potential resistance. So that's bearish. So this is what chunking is, which I talk about in the e-course. It's building up each little thing, each little narrative. This is bullish, that's bearish. Which is more potent, which is more likely to play out. All right, so the fact that they were able to push their way back up into Friday's range puts me back in a neutral stance here. I will now assume that this node will act as support if we trade back into it again, and we'll only get bearish if we start to get continuation lower. All right, the chop continues. The market still has indecision here. It doesn't know where it's going today. There's no leadership yet. So they'll just keep pushing the price up and down to get short-term traders to go long and short. But until it picks a direction, it'll just keep grinding. If we haven't broke this B period low by the time we print the C period, we can pretty much use whichever direction it breaks initial balance as a target for continuation higher or lower. But at the moment, it is uncertain. Okay, so once again, this node that we're now pushing into is where I would expect us to find some support. This area where the overnight found support. So not an exact level, but between 79 and 69, somewhere in here. So if we start to break below there, that is where I get very, very bearish for a continuation down to the poor low. But we could still find support anywhere in here and then turn around and head higher. So that is what I'm watching for now. Looking for buyers. All right, guys, my apologies. I got a little distracted there. Okay, so at this point, the initial balance is to the downside. The C period printing and pushing below the B period low is the market beginning the process of one time framing lower. So we are pushing into that support that I've been talking about all morning. So look for this area to potentially hold here. But if the lows break, if we break that 69 level, we're definitely heading lower. So once again, we've looked into the previous balancing area and we have not been rejected out of it. We also have value lower and one time framing lower. So all of those are signals that the market is looking for continuation to the downside. And with such an obvious level as a poor low at the very bottom of a previous balancing area, that becomes the target more and more the more time we spend building pressure to the downside. So that is where I leave you here today. If we do find support in this little node, if we can stay above 69 and we start to trend higher, I would still wait to get above this node up here at, say, 44.20 before I'd get super bullish, because we could push right back up to the area where we made the A period high this morning and then just rotate in here. So I wouldn't get super bullish till we got above that node from overnight and then look for continuation there. Otherwise, bearish at the moment with potential for sideways seems more likely to me. Thank you all very much. I'm going to switch on over to the private stream. So if you're not a member of the brigade, it's never too late to join. If not, we will see you tomorrow morning right here on the YouTube. Have a great rest of your day. Oh, thank you, Diego. Yeah, I got to fix that too. All right, so I'll stay on here for another minute or two, and then I'll switch over. All right, so the link is updated. The email is out. I'm canceling the stream and heading over to the private. Thank you all so very much once again, and we will see you tomorrow morning.